Welcome to another episode of CoCreating. I know you like, girl, we thought that was over and done with. And I have been saying on damn near every Soul Food Sunday that I'm going to do an episode of CoCreating. I'm going to do an episode of CoCreating. And I had not done it because I was putting so much thought into it and how I wanted it to flow. And ironically, I got somewhere to be today, but I got a little time, and so I was like, you know what, I can go ahead and record co-creating. So here we are. For those of you who are new, welcome. Co-creating is a segment where we talk about some of the things that have helped me along my journey, whether it's a concept, a book, or whatever, because in essence, we are all energetically co-creating to create not only better lives for ourselves, but just a better humanity. And so we want to bring our energy together collectively to do so. And in this episode, one of the things that the thing that we'll be discussing is integration of divine masculine and divine feminine energy. That is that energy that gives us balance. If you are familiar with the term yin and yang, that is that balance of masculine and feminine energy that we all need. Society has taught us that we must strive for perfection. Society has taught us that being Christ-like or Christian means striving for perfection. And the thing that's wrong with that is we are spiritual beings having a human experience, meaning we have spiritual traits and capabilities, and we have human traits and capabilities that prevent us from perfection as it relates to society's terms. So why would we strive for something that we don't have the capacity to embody? And what I mean by that is by society standards. We don't have the capacity to live up to what it is that we've been told by society is perfection. But what we can do is work toward balancing our masculine and feminine energy as we navigate our journey and throughout life. Feminine energy being that receptive, open, receiving, nurturing, seed-bearing energy. And masculine being that action-oriented, logical, on the move, get it going energy. So I don't want anybody to misconstrue that when I say masculine and feminine energy, it has nothing to do with your sexual orientation or what genitalia you were born with. Men and women, in order to live a balanced life, need balanced masculine and feminine energy. It does not matter what you got between your legs. And in my experience, I have found that having a better understanding of toxic masculine energy and toxic feminine energy, and how I embody that, how that has contributed to some of my experiences, and also what divine masculine and divine feminine energy is and how to integrate the two, has helped me tremendously. And so on my journey, my efforts are to share with you all the things that have helped me along the way. And another thing that has helped me is through tarot and oracle cards, and I actually have some decks that have some excellent explanations and commentary on toxic masculine and toxic feminine energy, as well as divine masculine and divine feminine energy. So I will be reading from those particular cards. I won't be doing an actual reading, but I'll be reading like the book commentary on those cards to give you all a better understanding of what that looks like. But I know for me, just to give a little personal application to the topic, I once thrived in a place of both toxic feminine and toxic masculine energy. Actually, if one's toxic, then that means the other's out of balance too. So both have to be toxic. But I was overgiven, codependent, over nurturing, not tapping into my masculine energy of thinking logically about things, but thinking more from an emotional standpoint. And when you are interacting with people, when you're making life decisions, you want to make sure that you are doing things in moderation, that you are considering them from an emotional and a logical standpoint before you make your final decision on how you're going to move. And one of the ways that has shown up, not only in my relationships of overgiving, or being on some, but I love him, but that's my friend. Meanwhile, they treat me like gum under their shoe, which is definite toxic feminine energy. It's like my ideas. I've had so many brilliant, magnificent ideas, seeds that God has planted within me that I did not take forth the action and use my masculine energy to bring to fruition. I didn't use my masculine energy to put action behind those ideas or those seeds that my feminine energy was carrying. And so it's only when we have balance between the two that we're able to bring things to fruition. That's why I am an advocate of relationships. I love love. Like Usher said, I love love. I'm just bad at it. I'm not bad at it. I ain't claiming it. You know what I'm saying? The more I learn about loving myself and what love should be, I think I'm pretty dope at love. I just have not had that opportunity as of yet to share that with another individual of the opposite sex as I would like to. But I definitely, and not in a, I'll say it, it's not that I haven't had that opportunity. I haven't had the opportunity to do it in a more committed fashion. But once we understand those dynamics of how masculine and feminine energy work together and should be integrated, then we can understand what the fruits of having done the work to do that are. And also, you can't understand it in its essential form without knowing what it looks like from a more toxic standpoint. And we get a whole lot of examples of that. The world is run off of toxic masculine energy that focus on the material and external things that need to impress and be empowered and to abuse power. There are so many examples of toxic masculinity, that not being in touch with the emotions and being ashamed of having emotions, that not crying or being shamed for crying, the being vain and judging women by their aesthetic opposed to the content of their character and their hearts, and objectifying women. The toxic, I mean, it's just, we'll be all day. So what I am going to do at this point is to read some of the cards that specifically speak to these energies, so that it better gives you all an understanding of what divine masculine and feminine energy is, what integration looks like, and also what toxic masculine and toxic feminine energy is. So I'm going to start with the distorted, the toxic. Same thing. I'm not sure if you guys can see the cards clearly, but I am going to kind of hold it up so that you can just get a view of what I'm looking at, because the symbolism is very important. It conveys an important message as to what toxic masculinity looks like and how it affects our everyday lives. So in this image here, you got the sun shining down over tall buildings, and then you got a armor truck, which is symbolic of the being at war and violent nature of the toxic masculine. You have a time clock here, which is also a trait of toxic masculinity, because toxic masculine energy is that energy that everything is according to money. It's the grind, it's the hustle, it's the I ain't got time to stop and smell the roses because I'm too busy trying to get this paper. Like, that ain't living, yo. That ain't living. Of course, we all have to provide for ourselves. We all have to provide a living for those whom we have responsibility over, say our children or our wives or whatever the case may be. But you gotta have balance. You know, it can't be so much hustle and go. Gotta have some hustle and flow. You know what I'm saying? You gotta balance that thing out. You gotta get some rest and you gotta get it in. You gotta have fun and you gotta hustle. You gotta play. You know what I'm saying? You get what I'm saying? You gotta have some balance in this situation. So the time clock is just representing always feeling like you on the clock. You gotta do stuff in a hurry. It's gotta be by a certain time frame. It's gotta be competitive. All that is toxic masculinity. There's a gun here again, speaking to the war and the violence and the control. You have some money here in the image, coins and paper dollars and snakes, speaking to the toxic nature of the distorted masculine as it relates to finances and money. That I don't even feel like I really have to go into in-depth description about how toxic money is and how when a person is in toxic masculine energy, again, that could be a female. There are plenty of women out here who have dominant masculine energy and they have dominant toxic masculine energy, and you will see how money rules their everyday life. They're in and out. They will cross you within the drop of a dime for some money. Money is their master. I'm trying to see what else. You got this man here. He has on a suit. That whole image of power and persona and leadership that is corrupt. It's representing that also. And yeah, that's enough on the images. I think we get the picture on that. But I'm using the True Love reading card to speak to the distorted energies, and these cards don't have no numbers, Lord. For the distorted masculine, which is number 10, it says, beware of where the distorted masculine may be showing up in your life. Let it go with love and live a fully blessed life in the now. See, the distorted masculine energy is that energy within us that is always worried about what's to come next and never enjoying the present. The divine masculine knows that everything that he needs will be provided for him, and he can rest in knowing that he can enjoy the now moment, opposed to worrying about stuff that ain't even came up yet, that may not even come to fruition, worried about tomorrow and the next day, or even stuck on the past. That distorted energy won't allow that person to enjoy the present moment. So it says distorted masculine is here for all of us to see every day of our lives. It is characterized by an unwillingness to trust, tending to ignore emotions and intuition, wanting proof of everything, and insisting on a logical or rational approach. Part of the mold we all grew up with to a greater or lesser extent. This old paradigm is now becoming obsolete. At first, we may still believe that the distorted masculine owns and runs this world, but if we look closer, we see that his refusal to acknowledge and support the divine feminine is causing him to wither and die. We have all created the society we live in today, irrespective of our gender. How long the distorted masculine continues to exert his power is up to each and every one of us. The distorted masculine loves bureaucracy, power for the sake of it, and separatedness rather than togetherness. He tends to work within a win-lose dynamic where there can only be one winner, one first prize. Taking advantage and taking whatever is available are seen as business as usual in this mode. So naturally, we see a lot of distorted masculine in the corporate environment, yes, God, and in the damage done to our forests and oceans. It is tempting to feel helpless in the face of such an intense force, but this dragon has a soft underbelly because without the feminine forces to feed him, he cannot survive. I'm gonna pause right there because I always tell my friends, like, a lot of the ignorant things that we don't like about men, we are to blame for because we condone it. And once we really step into our feminine energy and require more and better, a better standard and quality of energy and interaction from the men and the male presence or the male energies in our lives or within us, then we'll get better. But until then, we're gonna get the filth, the disrespect, the disregard, the over talking us, the lies, the manipulation. We're gonna get the toxic masculine energy until the feminine energy steps up and presents a new standard, a better standard. Again, this does not have to speak to two individuals. It could be the energy within you. So, for instance, as a woman, my feminine energy should not accept less of my masculine energy than I know I have the capacity to deliver. I know I can put things into action and bring forth those ideas that I have, or I know that it takes action for me to, if I wake up one morning and say I want to clean the house, but then I lay there and my feelings and my emotions and don't allow my logic and my masculine energy to get me to get up and go ahead and clean up the house, my house gonna be filthy. I know better. I have to have, my feminine energy has to have a better standard to present to my masculine energy in order for things to get done. So it says you have drawn this card today because the distorted masculine is still influencing your life. Do you live by your clock and your diary, pushing everything aside until your work is done? Do you ignore your intuition or the messages from your body urging you to rest and relax? Are you afraid to feel your emotions for fear of being overwhelmed or appearing weak? Your angels and spirit guides want you to know that now is the time to bring this imbalance to your conscious awareness. Acknowledge it, bless it for what it has taught you, and let it go. It's time to live in and for the present without this influence. It is so important that we take assessment of how toxic masculine energy is showing up in our lives, not only with the people around us, but within us, so that we can move towards integration in a more balanced way of living that will benefit us in our relationships, in our homes, on our jobs, and just as a society as a whole. So without talking too much about the distorted masculine and be looking like I'm male bashing, there's a distorted feminine card also. Oh, I ain't pull it out. Give me a second. Bro, where is that card? There she go. I'm like, I know I didn't pull out the masculine card and not the feminine. More point than I thought it was. So the image here of the distorted feminine, she's underwater. So it's more like an image of a mermaid. And that is showing, it's symbolic of how the feminine can be so involved in and engulfed in her emotion that she can't make a logical decision. That is what distorted feminine energy look like, because water represents emotion. So this woman here, she's drowning in her own emotions and she's stuck and she needs to come out of her shell. You can see this shell here. She's at the bottom of the ocean and the sun is shining down on her, but she can't seem to get up and move towards it because she's engulfed in her emotion. And I know each and every toxic relationship that I've been in, each and every time I have exhibited distorted feminine energy, it has been because of this imbalance, this toxic feminine energy where I'm so in my feelings that I can't make a logical decision as to how I want to move forward or back from a situation. And it doesn't always have to be about a relationship. It could be about a job. There's been times where my distorted feminine energy kept me at a job, pissed off, mad, upset, don't like the environment, it don't sit right with my spirit, my intuition telling me to leave. But instead of doing something about it, I just complain. That's toxic feminine energy. So for the distorted feminine, which is number 9, it says it's time to recognize the distorted feminine in your life, release these negative patterns, and live fully and happily in the present. The distorted feminine may not appear to run the world in the same way the distorted masculine does, yet it's just as commonplace and equally destructive. The distorted feminine is characterized by negative emotions, depression, neediness, a sense of going around in circles, or the need for pointless drama, feeling unattractive, or being trapped and powerless. In this mode, the feminine can even be dishonest by means of manipulation, not saying what she really means, or by being unclear about what she needs. This gives rise to unspoken or even unfair expectations. I'm pretty sure the men out there, the dominant masculine energies, can relate to what's being said here, because so often I hear, especially from my male friends, instances where women in their toxic feminine energy are being manipulative or not expressing what their needs are clearly, but expecting those needs to be met, and that is toxic feminine energy. The distorted feminine may seek to catch out or trip up another in order to have something to be angry or upset about. This need for attention, whatever the cost and expression of insecurity, can damage her health, her relationships, and even her career prospects. After centuries in the shadows, receiving little credit for her effort and shouldering guilt and blame at the hands of global institutions, the feminine is tired. Maybe she feels unloved and unsupported by the masculine in her world. Maybe life seems like a struggle. While some of these things may be true, remaining in the distorted feminine is not the way to resolve them. You've drawn this card today because the distorted feminine is lurking somewhere in your life and is asking to be acknowledged and healed. Being honest with yourself about what is really happening is the first huge step toward empowerment. Are you constantly becoming involved with the wrong kind of partner? Do you blame your mate for the things that aren't working in your life? Do you second guess yourself or imagine that other people think ill of you? Are you afraid to ask for what you really need and want, or are you waiting until someone else figures it out and gives it to you? Are you dwelling on old feelings of hurt or disappointment? Your angels and spirit guides want you to know that now is the time to bring this energy to the surface. Bless it for what it has taught you, then let it go. It's time to live in and for the present. So many times, and I'm a speak to men on this one. Men don't understand how they need to connect with their feminine energy. But I'm gonna tell you, that part of you that needs to nurture yourself, that's your feminine energy. That part of you that needs a nap, but you want to keep working, that is your feminine energy calling for your attention, needing you to tap into your feminine energy and take care of yourself. That part of you that needs to eat right, that part of you that needs to exercise, the part of you that needs to go to the doctor, whatever it is within you that is calling for you to take better care of yourself, not only physically but emotionally, is your feminine energy needing to be balanced out with your masculine energy. It's not okay to be, the body is not designed for you to go. You can't make the best decisions in life without without feminine energy there to nurture the seed that's been planted. So you definitely want to be mindful of that. I think, and maybe it's just because I'm a woman, it's easy to see where there's distorted feminine energy in a woman. That woman who gossips a lot, who does not use her words to lift people up, but instead to tear them down. That woman who uses her sexual energy to seduce and manipulate, that's toxic feminine energy. That woman who does not handle her finances well, that's toxic feminine energy, sis. Because the way we handle our finances is a form of self-care. And if you are not being a good steward of the energetic currency, which money is just an energetic currency that God has blessed you with, that that's a toxic trait, and you are putting yourself in a karmic bind, because if you're not taking care of what you're being given, there's some karma to come behind it. You won't keep it. You won't be able to hold on to it. And you'll all forever wonder why money seems to slip through your hands. How you may seem to be able to make it and generate it, but you can't hold on to it, or you don't have it when you need it the most. So those are things to consider. Also, your esteem. Women with low self-esteem is toxic toxic feminine energy, and that's also toxic feminine energy in men. When men have low self-esteem, when men don't practice self-care and self-love, and especially men who don't have respect for women or have toxic relationships with their mother, they exemplify not only toxic masculine but toxic feminine energy as well. And so there are a trillion books, articles, readings, YouTube videos that you can Google on the topic. I just want to touch the surface of it so that I can kind of just bring it to your awareness that that's something to look at. And so we are going to move on to the card descriptions for divine masculine and divine feminine energy. And for that, the deck that I've used was the Lightworker Oracle. I love this deck. The divine masculine energy abides in power. And so this card in this deck, which ironically the distorted masculine was in that other deck, was on page 10, and the card number for this, the power of the divine masculine, in this deck is number 10. And this is a image of a man who knows that his power lies in his connection with the divine. He's tapped in, eyes closed to the things of this world, and tuned into higher consciousness, things of a more godly nature. So definitely gonna read the description for the power of the divine masculine, so we better understand what walking in that energy and showing up in that energy looks like. An empowering energy seeks expression from within. It wishes to free you from confusion, paralysis, and stagnancy. It seeks to stir you into consciously chosen action, greater discipline, and focus. It's time to end the frustration of repeating old patterns. You are ready to break through into a new way of life. Feel inspired, be energized, and focus on your dreams and desires. Take steps to manifest them on the physical plane. Believe your success is inevitable. Again, the feminine energy, she may bring forth that idea. She may birth that idea, but the man provides for that idea, cultivates that idea, takes the action, and puts forth the logical energy to bring forth that energy. And that's not just to speak to a physical man and a physical woman, but because you got women out here that are doing it all. You got men out here that are doing it all, but that is because they have integrated those energies within themselves. I want to make sure I drive that point home, because I don't need nobody being like, but I'm a woman and I do that. Trust me, sis. I do it all too. I get it. The divine masculine in you knows when to accept and when to say no to a belief, fear, habit, person, or situation. This divine masculine energy exists within all men and women. It rallies the spirit and responds in times when you may feel drained or taken advantage of or overwhelmed by too many choices and demands. It cuts through the confusion that comes with choice and priority setting. It refuses to be distracted and keeps you from being dissuaded from your life purpose. The divine masculine is growing within you now. It is the spiritual light that reveals the truth without filters or veils. Let this energy clear distractions, demands, and drama from your life. Let it help you discern what is best for you and give you the courage to act on it. Let it help you sort out what is true from what is illusion. Honey, that's another thing. Toxic people in toxic masculine energy love and attract drama. They can't stand for shit to be at peace. They have to thrive in chaos. If it's too quiet, they're gonna create some drama. That's another sign of toxic masculine energy. Let it help you sort out what is true from what is illusion. Let it help you dictate your time and energy to what has most meaning for you. It will empower you to claim success in what matters most to you. The divine masculine overcomes procrastination. It acts again and again in accordance with the heart. Divine masculine energy empowers each leading light to lovingly assert him or herself in the world. It supports us in standing up for what has meaning to the heart, whilst lovingly but firmly saying no when we need to do so. Do not minimize your inner divine masculine, whether you be man or woman. Nourish it. However, if your masculine energy has been trapped in the wounds of your ancestors, he may demand absolute perfection before you believe you are worthy of love. He may even be violent towards you, perhaps keeping you from saying no to violent relationships or self-harming through over-exercising, denying your body good nutrition or rest, or by ignoring your feelings, vulnerabilities, and intuitive wisdom. He may need healing from your inner divine feminine to feel loved, valuable, worthy, needed, and respected. The inner misogynist will fall away as a new empowered divine masculine asserts itself within you. Learn to trust this part of yourself. Let him become strong in you. He can be your guide, protector, defender. Trust when he says no to something or someone. Trust when he says you are ready for this and encourages you to act. As you trust in him, you will trust yourself to be visible. Your inner divine masculine will help you shine your light without fear, so others can also find their way through darkness into love. So many of us have callings on our lives that because we have toxic masculine or toxic feminine energy and we're not answering that call, this commentary is really calling us to examine where is that coming from, because you got to get to the root of it in order to see why you are bringing yielding that kind of fruit. You know what I'm saying? All fruit ain't good fruit. So if you know you yielding bad fruit, you want to get to the root of why, and you want to definitely apply what you find to your masculine and feminine energy, whether it is distorted or in its divine state. So the next card is number 9, which again, the 9 card in the other deck was on page 9, wisdom of the divine feminine. And as you can see here, she is covered in flowers, because that is what the divine feminine does. She exudes beauty inside and out. She nourishes and she flourishes. So I'm gonna let the book do the talking on this one as well. Divine feminine wisdom empowers you to grow into your vision, your dreams, and the fulfillment of your life purpose. Perhaps you envision a very different life for yourself to what you are experiencing now. This wisdom reminds you that you can experience even the most extraordinary dreams as reality if you are willing to grow into what you desire, to become what you seek. Surrender any plans about how you can best manifest your dreams and instead allow life to guide and nourish you through your experiences each day. The universe supports your divine destiny and is helping you become all you're meant to be. When the wisdom of the divine feminine reaches for you, the message is clear. You are in a process of becoming more of heaven on earth. Sometimes there are growing pains alongside the joy such growth brings. You may feel concerned, thinking your pain is an indication that you're failing in some way. You may judge your suffering as a sign that you are not operating at a high enough frequency. Yet, how many spiritual masters upon this planet have endured great suffering, as well as experiencing tremendous love and joy in the fulfillment of their divine destiny? Growing pains are just part of the feminine path of creation, of breaking through what has become too small for you. There's joy in the eventual freedom, but the act of breaking through can feel painful at times. When things are difficult or you are feeling doubt, when you feel the need to do something that scares you and challenges you at the depths of your being, you are experiencing growing pains. They will pass and you will benefit from the growth. However, you need to know that whilst this difficulty is in your life, the divine is very much with you, encouraging you, believing in you so much that it will deliver a tough lesson. You can handle it for however long it needs to continue, and that won't be forever. So this I liken very much to, even though I don't have children, going through labor pains. You know, when you birth something, an idea, just like birthing a physical person, you're going to contract, you're going to expand, you're going to stretch, and that does not feel good. And as you push and push to bring that idea to fruition, it's gonna hurt. It's gonna hurt, but at the end, you always see the mother holding that baby, crying, tears of joy, smiling. It's always worth it in the end. So if anybody is in that space in your life where you want to do something, you have an idea for something, be it a business, a relationship, buying a home, or taking a trip, whatever it is that you're wanting to birth into reality, but you're experiencing some difficulties, hang in there. This oracle also brings you a message about how much the divine feminine loves you and wants to help you grow with the least struggle and the most peace. If you don't listen to her, instead choosing to believe in fear, you may be terrified of your growing pains. You won't be sure if they will ever end. You may doubt your ability to turn adversity into triumph. You may lose faith instead of trusting that life has your best interest at heart and that you are capable of meeting any challenge that arises. Instead of trusting, you may believe the world isn't safe. This can keep you paralyzed in self-defeating, self-harming patterns. While these may give you a temporary, familiar satisfaction, ultimately these patterns mean you will continue to struggle and suffer under the weight of addiction or emotional pain. You deserve so much better than that. The divine feminine speaks to you now and promises that if you are willing to show up to your life each day and trust in the circumstances before you, she will guide you into your most beautiful divine destiny. It is safe to trust her. She wants for you only the best and most beautiful life journey, one perfectly suited for all that you are and all that you can be. Your heart beats in perfect rhythm with the heart of love at the center of our universe. Trust your heart and trust life. All is progressing beautifully as you are guided ever deeper into your divine fulfillment. I was going to read the card for inner integration. And I think I still will, because it's so important that even when you know what distorted masculine and distorted feminine energy looks like, and what the power of the divine masculine and the wisdom of the divine feminine look like, it's important to have some understanding of what it looks like when you bring that power and that wisdom together. I'm all about the teamwork making the dream work. And for those of us who are single, that does not necessarily mean that you can't obtain that until you have another person in your life. It doesn't mean that at all. It's all about tapping into that within yourself. So this one here is number 40, inner integration. It says there's nothing just outstanding about this image here. There are 4 women with some gears turning, speaking to the masculine and feminine energy being integrated. But it says there is peace, equilibrium, and fulfillment in integrating the inner wild with the taming and tempering effect life has on us. Throughout our lives, we go through many phases and versions of ourselves. We explore different roles, terrains, experiences, and company. At each stage of human development, we are mostly physiologically and psychologically attuned to the archetypal consciousness of either maiden, mother, guardian, or crone. Broadly speaking, each archetypal energy is a life stage or cognitive window that shapes and contains the ways we are capable of perceiving, processing, and engaging with life throughout this process. I don't think it speaks to the phases for a man. Oh my goodness. I'll put that in the description box below, because I'm not remembering what those life phases for a man are. I know there's maiden, mother, and crone for the life stages of a woman, but there are those life stages for a man also. So check the description box below and I will list that there. Each facet or version of ourselves is in and of itself incomplete, wild, raw, and uncut, so to speak, especially upon entering into a new life phase. We learn to find our way and adjust as we go, and this takes time. Experience and increasing maturity tame us as we slowly master the maiden, mother, guardian, and crone energy. Eventually, our rough edges get worn down to a smooth surface, and we become increasingly adept at recognizing the red flags and which battles are necessary to fight. This represents you being ready to advance further in your self-integration. This may be a time for gaining much peace and appreciation from reviewing each stage of your life up until this point. During this period of self-reflection, journal the significant events, people, preoccupations, and epiphanies that stand out for you. Notice how they've influenced different versions of yourself. Highlight all of the traits you love about each version and whether they seem to have faded. For example, the energy and wonder of your youth, the bold conviction of your teens, the openness, love, and idealism of your young adulthood, or the self-knowledge, confidence, and insight of the guardian. The featured crone offers to hold you in her serene consciousness while you imagine your spirit self as the light and your lifespan as a kaleidoscope. It does not matter which way you turn the knob, which colors arise, or how the patterns emerge and dissipate. It's always the spirit self that shines its brilliant light through. If the kaleidoscope of your life has ever been tampered with in ways that seem to block your light, look again. Your light is always illumined and glistened through what clouded in. Should your light ever be tampered with in the future, always remember that your spirit self continues. It cannot be extinguished. Every color, experience, and facet of you is always present and available to be expressed, translated, and integrated through the kaleidoscope of your life and body. Integrate what you love and what continues to resonate from previous versions of yourself. Live the harmony of your wild through your time. And all in all, what these messages tell us is that in order to live in harmony, we have to have harmony and integration within ourselves. As within, so without. So I hope that this message found you guys well and gave you a better understanding of the energy surrounding divine integration, and that you're able to take this information and do your own self-reflection, do your own research on the energies, and better understand and move forward embodying divine masculine and divine feminine energy and working toward integration. It's an everyday thing. Ooh, what song is that? Y'all know I talk in song lyrics. No, I ain't gonna say the rest because I just thought of what that song is. Anyway, y'all be blessed. Peace.